Tonight, Democrats threaten Trump's presidency.
An impeachment inquiry is on.
No one is above the law.
Allegations of abuse of power.
It's a witch hunt.
With a presidential election just a year away.
Kevin O'Leary's wife charged in that deadly Muskoka boat crash.
An ambitious climate promise, but just how would Canada achieve it?
And the Raptors president's other success story.
How good is this day at the office?
It's the best day. It's the best day ever.
How Masai Ujiri and basketball are changing lives with the giants of Africa. This is The National.
The U.S. House of Representatives has launched an official impeachment inquiry into the conduct of Donald Trump. And whatever passed for normal in Washington has now screeched to a halt. Paul Hunter walks us through this moment when Democrats take a huge political gamble to take down a U.S. president.
No one is above the law.
It was a remarkable, truly historic moment, set to split an already fiercely divided country and threaten the presidency of Donald Trump.
Today, I'm announcing the House of Representatives moving forward with an official impeachment inquiry.
Nancy Pelosi, top Democrat on Capitol Hill, was blunt. Trump, she said, has betrayed his oath of office and represents a threat to U.S. national security.
The actions taken to date by the president have seriously violated the Constitution.
It's all about what Trump did or did not say to the president of Ukraine this summer. The reported allegation by a whistleblower from U.S. intelligence is that Trump tried to leverage U.S. aid to Ukraine to pressure that country into digging up dirt on Trump rival Joe Biden. Inviting foreign interference into U.S. politics is a clear violation of U.S. law. Trump has acknowledged talks with Ukraine's president, but insists he's put no pressure on that country to do anything.
I think it's ridiculous. It's a witch hunt. I'm leading in the polls. They have no idea how they stop me. The only way they can try is through impeachment.
Regardless how he frames it, impeachment it is. And Trump, who tonight called it presidential harassment, becomes one of just a handful of U.S. presidents ever to face such a process. And what a process it'll be in the run-up to the 2020 presidential election. As Trump dined at the UN today with Ukraine's president just a table or two away, the expectation in Washington is that it's all about to turn ever more intense. Tomorrow, Trump will release a transcript of one of his conversations with Ukraine's president, insisting it'll exonerate him. And on Capitol Hill, the whistleblower who started all of this is now trying to meet this week directly with lawmakers amid word his report may also now be sent to them.
So, Paul, Trump's critics have been pushing for impeachment since at least the release of the Mueller report back in the spring. So why move to impeach him now?
Well, look, Nancy Pelosi had resisted this step for a long time. Not least went the thinking because polls say fact is most Americans have no appetite for impeachment hearings right now. But lately, more Democrats, even where Trump has support, have moved on side on it. Pelosi also believes these allegations are easy for people to grasp, with the kicker that none of this is about stuff said to have happened before he was president. It's while he's been president. So there's been pressure that if you don't call him out on it now, when can you? Yes, Democrats fear it'll all backfire and that somehow Trump will emerge stronger. But as Pelosi said to put it privately today, this is the moment of truth for Trump, and truth is what this has always been about. Andrew.
Okay, Paul, thanks very much. Now, whatever happens, it'll likely happen fast. Historically, the impeachment process in Congress takes just a few months. So here's how it breaks down. First, the House conducts an investigation and draws up what are called the articles of impeachment. Essentially, it's a list of charges that Trump will face. To impeach, the House needs a simple majority vote. But that's just the beginning, because after, the Senate holds a trial presided over by the U.S. Chief Justice. To actually strip Trump of office, 2/3 of the Senate would have to be on side. And keep in mind, past presidents have been impeached, but the number who've actually been removed because of it, 0.
So this has been a rough day for some powerful people. Trump is not the only leader whose authority is being challenged. Britain's Prime Minister, who met with Trump today, is facing calls for his resignation. That is because the Supreme Court ruled the Prime Minister broke the law when he suspended Parliament ahead of Brexit. Cameron McIntosh tells us what happens now.
Waiting patiently in the rain for a ruling most of these demonstrators wished for, but few expected.
That the decision to advise Her Majesty to prorogue Parliament was unlawful.
The UK's top court ruling the Prime Minister acted illegally, suspending Parliament, preventing debate over Brexit. For the Remain side, a critical win.
Today's ruling confirms that we are a nation governed by the rule of law. Laws that everyone, even the Prime Minister, is not above.
A legal ruling setting a political precedent, defining the limits of prime ministerial power, stunning legal experts.
Just speechless, absolutely speechless. No one could have seen this coming.
With the Supreme Court ruling, the focus now shifts back across that square to Parliament and a big question. What will Boris Johnson try next?
Unlawfully, will you resign, Prime Minister?
An ocean away in New York, Johnson ignored questions about resigning. Remaining adamant, Brexit will go ahead, deal or no deal.
We in the UK will not be deterred from getting on and delivering on the will of the people to come out of the EU on October the 31st.
This unelected Prime Minister should now resign.
While this is energizing the opposition, there are cracks here too. Jeremy Corbyn's Labour Party is deeply divided on Brexit. A parliamentary alliance determined to stop a no-deal Brexit has no clear way forward. But at the very least, says this MP, returning Parliament will keep Johnson in check.
We need to be there, we need to be in the chamber scrutinising him, holding him to account.
Parliament coming back with just 5 weeks to find a solution to Brexit, something it hasn't been able to do in 3 years. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, London.
All right, so let's turn now to the campaign trail here in Canada.
Good morning, everyone.
This is an investment in our future.
So climate change was a big topic today, with promises from the Liberals and also from the New Democrats, while the Conservatives promised help for small business. So let's start with the environment then, Rosie.
Yeah, the Liberals are promising something rather dramatic. Within 30 years, they now say Canada will achieve net zero emissions. That means that carbon emissions from industry or any activity would have to be balanced out by the removal of an equal amount of carbon by planting trees, for instance, or using technology that captures and stores carbon. Justin Trudeau made his pitch in the BC riding of Burnaby South, which just happens to be the riding of his opponent, Jagmeet Singh. That's just one political calculation on an issue the Liberals want to be seen as defining. David Cochran shows us how.
If there's an issue the Liberals say truly separates them from the Conservatives, it's climate change. And Justin Trudeau wants everyone to know it.
Conservatives want to bury their heads in the sand, denying the science and hoping that other countries will step up. They have no plan to reduce emissions.
It's a big wedge and a big promise, a net zero economy by 2050. It comes in a week when more than 60 other countries made the same pledge at a UN summit, and when, on Friday, a determined teenager will be in Montreal to spearhead a global climate strike. The Liberals say they will legislate emission reductions, but there is no public plan beyond past measures such as the carbon tax. The one new thing, a tax cut to boost green innovation.
A re-elected Liberal government will cut corporate tax in half for zero emissions clean tech companies.
One thing we've seen with Justin Trudeau over the last few days is he's a master at improv, coming up with things on the fly.
The Conservatives call the promise a distraction and refuse to move beyond the targets in the Paris Agreement.
We are committed to the targets that we signed on to. That is our plan.
The Greens damn Trudeau's promise with faint praise.
Is it preferable to what Andrew Scheer has offered? You bet. But it's not anywhere near what is required.
No one believes that Mr. Trudeau is going to actually follow through on those commitments.
Jagmeet Singh rolled out NDP proposals to help finance green energy companies and help public transit go electric, while his party threw shade at the Liberals.
Of course it's not perfect and we need to do more.
It's a problem the Liberals nod to in their latest ad, but despite the contradiction, they clearly see this as a winning issue. David Cochrane, CBC News, Ottawa.
Alberta clearly has a serious stake in any federal policy on greenhouse gases. Carolyn Dunn found out how the whole idea of zero net emissions plays out in the oil patch.
In a place where the economy and jobs depend on oil and gas, even the mention of net zero emissions can raise anxiety. But Canadians may not realize it's been on the radar of corporate oil and gas long before it became a campaign promise. Take Meg Energy, a thermal oil sands producer, whose CEO revealed to CBC News it will have a pilot project to sequester its greenhouse gas emissions within 2 years.
We're going to focus on net zero emissions because we believe that that's the end game and that's where we need to get to as quickly as possible. And we need to demonstrate to people how we are going to do that.
Canada's largest oil and gas producer, Canadian Natural, also has a net zero emissions target, but no timeline. But the bulk of Alberta's oil and gas companies, including Cenovus, have yet to make such a commitment.
That it's a really good, laudable, aspirational goal. I think right now that would take a great deal of investment, and it can only be done in the context of a vibrant, growing oil and gas sector in this province.
Economist Trevor Tombe says there's simply not enough detail to even guess at how the Liberal promise would impact Alberta's economy.
There are lots of ways to lower emissions, some high-cost ways and some low-cost ways, and that's where I think our attention should be in terms of actual policy that we implement.
Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Calgary.
Back on the campaign trail, the Conservatives today focused on small businesses, promising to reverse some of those controversial changes the Liberals made to how they are taxed. And one of those promises may sound rather familiar.
With lower taxes, with less red tape, and with a series of measures to put more money in your pockets.
Andrew Scheer promising to slash red tape today.
Our government will always choose jobs and growth over taxes and red tape.
And Stephen Harper promising the same in 2015. But it's not just that. Scheer has also borrowed heavily from Harper's economic playbook with promises like the children's fitness and arts tax credits. He promised to reduce wait times in hospitals and recycled this one.
It is also going to make it more attractive to use public transit rather than taking someone's car.
This is a real incentive that will encourage more people to take public transit, meaning fewer cars on the road.
A tax cut that has been proven does not actually increase use of public transit in a significant way. So if you're trying to draw a clear distinction as leader between yourself and the guy who came before you, why lean so heavily on policies that he also put in place?
Our family-friendly tax credits for fitness, arts, and learning.
Sports! Well, in part because Conservatives believe they work and that Canadians should have more of their own money to make their own choices.
So Nat and Christine are entitled to claim the children's fitness tax credit and the children's arts tax credit.
But also because Harper was in power for nearly a decade, a sign these measures are attractive for many Canadians. The question for Scheer is whether they will work for him. One last development from the campaign tonight. We are told that Justin Trudeau and Jagmeet Singh did finally speak on the phone this evening about those images that surfaced last week of Trudeau in brown and blackface. Both the Liberals and the NDP say the call was a private conversation, and that's all we know. And that is it from Ottawa. Back to Toronto.
Okay, and to a major development today in a story involving TV personality Kevin O'Leary. His wife has been charged in connection with a deadly boat crash last month in Ontario's cottage country. So too has the operator of the other boat involved. Thomas Daigle went to Muskoka today.
The O'Leary's plush cottage in Muskoka sits on the lake where, a month ago, 2 boats crashed late at night. 2 people died and another 3 were injured. Today, Kevin O'Leary's wife, Linda, was charged with careless operation of a vessel.
Our investigation confirmed that was a careless operation, and that's the reason those charges were brought forward.
The crash occurred straight out there on Lake Joseph. The O'Learys have maintained the other boat was being operated with its lights off on a dark night. Today, Linda O'Leary's lawyer told CBC she is a cautious and experienced boater.
She's grief-stricken that there was a loss of life in an incident where she was involved. At the same time, she's recuperating from an injury that she sustained at the time, which required surgery on her foot.
The other boat was carrying Suzanne Brito and Gary Poltash. They both died. The operator of that craft has been charged for, quote, failing to exhibit navigation light while underway. He faces a fine. No one is charged in connection with the two deaths. In fact, Linda O'Leary is charged under Canada's Shipping Act, not the criminal code. That signals investigators may not suspect criminal intent, according to this lawyer who's monitoring the case.
If it's more in the manner of inadvertence, they might be able to get a conviction underneath the Shipping Act.
Linda O'Leary's court date is set for October 29th. If the case goes to trial, it may uncover answers to questions still hanging over that deadly night. Thomas Dagg, CBC News, McTier, Ontario.
Now, if convicted, police say Linda O'Leary could face a $1 million fine and 18 months in prison. But her lawyer disputes that, saying because she was driving a pleasure craft, the maximum penalty would be $10,000 and no jail time.
More news ahead on The National, including serious question about Syria's top diplomat in Canada.
Plus, the massive sinkhole lurking beneath a major highway. Experts say it could be disastrous.
And later, exclusive access inside Masai Ujiri's basketball camp, the Giants of Africa.
You guys have to make the country better.
You'll see what his passion project means for the kids on that continent. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Welcome back. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is promising swift action after a strong supporter of Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad was approved for a senior diplomatic post in Montreal. Chrystia Freeland says she did not know about it, but as Katie Simpson tells us, some Syrian Canadians call this appointment really dangerous.
Inside Canada's Syrian community, there is fear members will no longer be out of reach of dictator Bashar al-Assad. Concern triggered by the Canadian government's approval of an Assad loyalist as a top Syrian diplomat in this country.
When Ramli has the power as a consul in Montreal, it's going to be so dangerous for all of Syrians.
He is Wassim Ramli, the man Syria nominated as honorary consul in Montreal. Ramli is known for driving around the city in an SUV with Assad's face on the side. His appointment would allow him to make decisions for thousands of Syrians in Canada on government documentation and consular support.
This situation is unacceptable.
The Foreign Affairs Minister blamed the public service, saying Ramli's appointment is not something she was told about, also suggesting there's a vetting problem since Ramli's views are easily found online. He claims that members of the White Helmets, volunteers credited with heroically rescuing Syrians while documenting atrocities, are al-Qaeda terrorists. An untrue and particularly offensive claim to Chrystia Freeland, who organized a dramatic rescue of 250 White Helmets last summer.
I'm here to do things in a neutral way.
Ramley says he had no contact with Global Affairs Canada directly about his appointment. He also says he met Liberal leader Justin Trudeau at a fundraiser this summer, but it had nothing to do with his approval.
I'm hoping that doesn't become a thing of trying to create a conspiracy theory.
The Conservatives want answers from Freeland.
This individual should never have been appointed in the first place.
Ramley is supposed to start this job on October 1st, but Canada is expected to pull its approval for his appointment before then. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa.
And some of the other stories we're following tonight. British Columbia has won a temporary injunction against Alberta's so-called turn off the taps legislation.
We're going to take a look at it. If we need to make amendments to address the concerns raised by the court, we will do so.
Bill 12 would restrict the flow of oil from Alberta to the West Coast. It was seen as a way to put pressure on BC to stop fighting the Trans Mountain pipeline expansion. The federal court, however, said the proposed legislation could cause irreparable harm to BC residents. Today's ruling prevents Alberta's government from using the law until a court rules on whether it's constitutional. And streets are still drying out in Charlottetown after flooding this morning. 50 millimeters of rain fell, choking drains with debris left behind by post-tropical storm Dorian. Crews were deployed to clear those blockages, but there's more heavy rain in the forecast across the province and a rainfall warning still in effect.
Up next, we visit Masai Ujiri in Tanzania, where he took the heft of the NBA to inspire and empower.
I guarantee you that one of those kids there is going to become something big.
From that school?
Yes, from that school. Guarantee you.
Exclusive access with the Giants of Africa. Next on The National. Well, after a thrilling but exhausting NBA season, you might think the president of the Toronto Raptors would take a little downtime, but there is no off-season for Masai Ujiri. As you heard in our interview last night, he saves his spare time for his passion project. Ujiri was raised in Nigeria, and in the summer, he returns to the continent, taking with him a series of basketball camps. His Giants of Africa program holds a special place in that man's heart for what it does, what it gives, and what it leaves behind. So tonight, we bring you an exclusive inside look.
When you look at the Toronto Raptors, and I look at Kawhi, and I looked at Coach Nurse, and everybody working together, okay, for one goal, to win. And that's how we should work in our countries. One goal to win. And you guys have to do that. You guys have to make the country better. Everybody understand?
The Pied Piper has called them all. This is Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and they are the eager, nervous new faces of the Giants of Africa basketball camp. What does drive look like here? It looks like 6'7", 15-year-old Freddy Dede. The smile of a kid hanging on the slimmest of chances he's good enough to be noticed. He needs that. Freddy's an orphan. He's not in school. Joseph Peters, there in the Miami shirt, isn't in school either. It's too expensive. So to get new gear is huge.
What's on your sock? This one is my picture.
His prized possession until now, a pair of well-loved socks with his own face on them.
All right, you're gonna get to know all of us through camp. We're gonna give you our first name, what country you're from, and we give 2 claps. Coach Jama from Swaziland. Good, here we go.
On a continent dominated by soccer, this is an oddity, and that's the point. All those coaches, some of the NBA and WNBA's finest. They're here to push a whole generation to try something different and to get good at it.
Here we go. Now, we're going to start playing some basketball right away. When you play basketball, you got to dribble that rock and get really good. Pop, 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 pop.
To let basketball be their passport to the future.
Let me get 1 slap, 2 slap, 1 slap, 2 slap, no slap. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh man, I am tired. I'm exhausted. They just kept me in immigration, that's all.
No kidding, Masai Ujiri is exhausted.
Hi.
This camp is the creation of the Raptors president. He's been running it for years, and this summer crossed the continent with it. Rwanda, Somalia, Cameroon, South Sudan. Everywhere evangelizing the lessons of sports, of his sport.
If they ask me, what's your name? I say, my name is Masai Ujiri, and I'm from Nigeria. Yeah? What's your name? Yes. What's your name? The way you're sitting already, you're not telling me your name properly. Tell me your name. They can't hear you. Tell me your name. Okay, good. You need to be confident with yourselves.
There is a fierceness here and a loyalty.
What's your favorite team? Right here. Yes, you. What's your favorite team? Golden State? Hey, the moral of the story is, if you come to the Giants of Africa camp, your favorite team is the Toronto Raptors.
There is heft at this camp. Masai has brought along Patrick Engelbrecht. He's a global scout for the Raptors.
You gotta take these skills home, practice them, share them with your teammates.
My man, come on up.
And Jama Malalela, the head coach of the Raptors G League affiliate team.
We're gonna give you a last clap, and once you hear the rhythm going, you show it to us. Ready?
Both born on the continent, as was almost every other coach here.
Many of us reached our dreams this past season, and I think what's really important is that the kids see that represented. When we introduce ourselves, we say, hi, I'm Coach Jam from Swaziland. I'm Coach Godwin from Nigeria. That means something because it's a coach who's in front of them that they view as a Westerner, but really we're from here as well.
Representation is fundamental to the camp, so there's always a thought to introduce the kids to the stars in their midst.
You gotta make the most of this. You gotta pay attention to everything that's being said to you.
And so, 7'3" Tanzanian Hashim Thabit, the only person from East Africa to ever play in the NBA. The life he has is Joseph's biggest dream, so he gets as close as he can, which is not really that close. And there's the hope and the heartbreak of this camp. Both Freddie and Joseph know they will get 3 intensive days of exposure to the sport's very best.
You gotta know that, hey, if I work out here, I can become the next big African player coming out of this country.
And then as fast as they came, the Giants will be gone. So how do you measure success of a program like this, aside from the looks on some of these faces? Well, the fact is, none of the campers from the Giants of Africa have yet made it to the NBA or the WNBA, but at least 150 of them have gone on to get basketball scholarships at colleges and universities around the world, most of them to the United States. Those scholarships mean good educations, which mean good jobs, which means doors opened by basketball for a lot of kids that otherwise would have stayed totally closed. Freddie, number 61 there, still needs to work on his skills. Joseph, though, is a standout. He's fast and confident, but that might not be enough. What did they say to you today that really sticks in your head?
You play smart and you need to go into school. Yeah, me, I need to go into school. My parents don't have money going to school.
Not going to school isn't just Joseph's problem, it's Tanzania's. The costs can be out of reach for a lot of kids, and that's when dreams can die. So, Joseph, tell me about school. When did you stop going to school?
2014, I stopped.
That was years ago, and now he has way too much time to think about what he's lost. Once he had a high school basketball scholarship to Uganda, but after an injury, he was dumped. Now he plays anywhere he can.
Then I'm pay. I'm come back.
His body has healed, but that spirit has not. Why does that make you sad?
Basketball for Tanzania is not easy. You play, don't give you anything. You play. I've played a long time.
Nothing ever seems to come of it. This is a kid who feels trapped. There's both need and potential everywhere.
What's your favorite NBA team? Hey, Toronto everywhere. Yeah.
Momentarily leaving the camp behind, Masai heads an hour out of Dar es Salaam to a rural school and its dusty clay court full of kids who seem so familiar.
I went to a secondary school just like this in northern Nigeria. It doesn't matter where you grow up. It doesn't matter where you go to school. You can become something. So what I'm trying to tell you is that if my dumb ass can do it, you guys can do it even better. You know?
Masai never made it to the NBA as a player. He found another way and needs them to see options too. And don't think he's resting on his laurels.
Everybody tells me I'm the first president in all of sports from Africa. If I'm the only one, it's a failure. Yeah, but if I bring others along, and one day I can say there are many more, that means it was a success.
I guarantee you that one of those kids there is going to become something big.
From that school?
Yes, from that school. Guarantee you. That's what you want. That's what I want Giants of Africa to be all about.
And there are noticeable changes. On the last day, we catch a glimpse of Freddie finding his voice. He's 15 and shy, but behaving like the leader. And don't think that isn't seen by the coaches. Come time to announce a coveted spot in the All-Star team, guess who gets called?
I've been praying for it and my dream comes true.
Not just his dreams, Joseph gets the call too. Number 11, that's him flying down the court. And then before his new raucous pals, he plays to win. And they all notice. In the last moments of the camp, an MVP is chosen. And look who it is. Joseph is one of the smallest players here, but he shines.
Yeah, champion.
As thrilled as his pals and coaches are, his face says something different. He's serious and a bit crushed. The camp is minutes from ending. The coaches are about to go home, but he'll stay put. We asked what he would do next. Just work harder, he said. He needs a break, but don't count him out. Don't count any of them out. That faith is Masai's fuel.
How good is this day at the office?
It's the best day. It's the best day ever.
Well, maybe not the best day ever.
Yeah, the best day ever was in Golden State, but yeah, this is the second best day.
He's not building schools or drilling wells for water. The Giants of Africa is a seed. That it grows is now up to them.
Wow. Adrian, such a powerful story. And to be part of that camp, I mean, that's an intense experience.
Oh, it's totally intense. You know, for the kids and for the coaches, they all sort of leave after those few days wondering what's going to happen to everyone else. You know, you look at a kid like Joseph, we've been in touch, you know, online for a while now. He's still not in school. He really wants to go. But he's still sort of waiting for his moment, and he's going to try. And you saw briefly there Hashim Thabit, that amazing player, right? 7'3". He is this very week working out with the New York Knicks. And so there are a whole bunch of kids in Tanzania who are crossing their fingers and just looking up to him and hoping he really gets to play.
Such a cool story. Time for a quick break. Stay with us. But up next, the fight for your streaming subscription. Two major competitors about to enter Canada, and you could come out on top. You will soon have more options for TV binge watching. Disney and Apple are both launching new streaming services, but those companies and others are now pulling their content from Netflix. Diane Buckner looks at what it all means for the company that started the streaming trend.
So what do you guys want to watch?
Russell and Jessica Gallows-Pronick and their kids watch Netflix almost every single day.
That's probably embarrassing, but yes.
They signed up as soon as the service came to Canada almost 10 years ago.
Everything changes now.
And now they want to be among the first to sign up for Disney Plus, set to launch in Canada in November.
What's next? The future.
The $90 annual fee isn't an issue.
That's about the cost to go to the movies. Like as a family of 6, by the time you pay for everybody's entry.
But it's not just Disney that's coming. Apple is launching a streaming service for $5.99 a month. Then there's Crave, CBC Gem, and others.
Count me in on this. You? Yeah, you'll be out before we get the check.
The companies are battling for customers and for content. Netflix just paid a reported $500 million for the rights to stream Seinfeld reruns.
What about your girlfriend?
While Warner paid $1 billion to stream reruns of The Big Bang Theory.
The ceiling stopped spinning for me.
And they're all spending huge amounts of money to create original programming.
So they've got to invest in content, because content in a sense is their best marketing tool.
This media professor believes there's room for plenty of players, but most will struggle to match the size of Netflix's library.
But I don't know that it's going to be that one of these players displaces Netflix. It may just be that they are not the dominant source.
So we asked Canadians about their interest in a Disney streaming service.
Okay. This market researcher says his survey showed that in the end, traditional cable companies could be the losers.
You have 15% saying they may drop their paid TV altogether, and 38% said they may drop some channels.
Still, adding one streaming service after another will add up at a time when many Canadians are concerned about the cost of living.
I love this movie, Gordy.
I like it too.
The Gallows-Pronick family may cut back on its monthly TV expenses, but not quite yet.
At this point, for us, we live in Manitoba and the winters are long.
What's being described as streaming wars for the companies involved has also been called a golden age of television for consumers. Diane Buckner, CBC News, Toronto.
More news ahead, including how homeowners in Saskatchewan got burned by going solar.
Plus, her ruling jolted British politics. Her brooch set social media on fire. Back in 2.
I'm Jamie Poisson, and tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner, U.S. Democrats launch a Donald Trump impeachment inquiry. What Joe Biden, his son, and the Ukraine have to do with it. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Some of the developing stories we're following around the world tonight. At least 20 people are dead and hundreds others injured after a powerful earthquake rocked northeast Pakistan. Now, the full extent of the damage not yet known, but early images show damaged roads and crumbled homes across large parts of the region. The magnitude 5.8 quake was felt as far away as New Delhi. New charges today for 2 senior Volkswagen executives as the fallout from the 2015 emissions scandal continues to grow. Today, German prosecutors charged the company's CEO and chairman with stock manipulation, alleging the pair failed to disclose the huge financial risks of the scandal in a timely fashion. In 2015, the company admitted to rigging millions of diesel cars worldwide to cheat emissions tests. Volkswagen calls today's allegations unfounded. And some astounding images coming out of Indonesia. A haze from forest fires has turned the skies blood red. The videos of those red skies have gone viral on social media as residents document the eerie haze blanketing villages on the island of Sumatra. Officials say the color is the result of pollution reacting with thick smoke and the sun. Indonesia has been plagued with the worst wildfires it's seen in nearly 5 years.
When we come back, the sinkhole lurking beneath a major highway and the pictures to prove it. But first, how going solar backfired for some homeowners in Saskatchewan. We'll see you in 2 minutes. Solar energy is one of the fastest growing power sources in the world, and here in Canada, some provinces and territories offer incentives to help homes and businesses install their own panels. In Saskatchewan, that was popular, too popular, in fact. So popular, the program had to be put on hold. Bonnie Allen explains why.
In sunny Saskatchewan, solar power makes sense to Kyle Fisher. He bought an electric car banking on charging it with solar electricity. And he designed his dream home around solar panels.
So that the panels had really good access to the sun. We chose appliances that were electric instead of gas so that they would be really cheap to operate.
But now he's been told he cannot connect to the power grid.
It's a bit of a punch in the gut.
The solar industry was booming here. The government was offering a rebate up to $20,000 for rooftop solar panels. And the province's power company introduced a net metering program which allowed homeowners to feed surplus solar energy into the power grid in return for equal credit.
During the summer, I can pump a lot of energy into the grid, give all that clean energy to SaskPower's customers, and then in the winter I can take that credit and use it for energy when the sun isn't shining. That's the whole idea.
But it was too popular. SaskPower quickly reached its cap and abruptly halted all new connections.
When the sun isn't shining, they're taking advantage of the provincial grid and making use of our infrastructure, power lines, transformers, power poles, that sort of thing. However, they aren't necessarily paying for it.
Plus, people who generate power no longer buy power.
That potentially is lost revenue from SaskPower because they're now foregoing revenue.
The program is now under review. Miguel Catelier wants it to continue even with fewer incentives. He runs a solar installation company.
We're not asking for a subsidy, we're not asking for a rebate, we're asking for the ability to connect to the grid, which SaskPower has taken away indefinitely.
As for Kyle Fisher, his solar dream has been put on hold.
No one can get attached to the grid right now, and it's really hurting us.
Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
And up next, another story coming out of the UK Supreme Court. It's got nothing to do with today's big decision that found the Prime Minister's actions unlawful, and everything to do with the judge's choice of jewelry. But first, in case you missed it, this major Nova Scotia highway could be ready to collapse at any moment. Barely a kilometer away, near the New Brunswick border, a gaping sinkhole swallowed up part of a Lions Club property last year. And now the sag on this stretch of the Trans-Canada is a little scary.
Well, the rock would have been, I'm assuming, up to the top of the wire, and it's no longer there. Could what happened at the Lions Parkland happen on the Trans-Canada Highway?
And a CBC News investigation suggests there is a reason to worry. Aerial photographs from the 1930s to today show the highway was built right over a sinkhole at that exact spot.
It may be unsafe, we don't know.
And this engineer reminds us, if there is danger, this is all the warning we're likely to get.
Failure happens in a second. Failure happens in a second.
So let's not mince words. This is a busy highway. If it suddenly gives way, people could die. The province says it'll be looking at the area closely over the coming weeks.
So we spoke earlier about today's announcement by the UK Supreme Court, by President Lady Hale. But the world being what it is, people got distracted when she was speaking by that right there, her spider brooch. So was she making a point, something maybe about tangled webs? The internet wanted to know, and the judge's possible fashion statement is our moment.
The court is bound to conclude, therefore, that the decision to advise Her Majesty to prorogue Parliament was unlawful.
Her verdict shook an entire country, but Lady Hale's spider brooch was a story all its own. Twitter, of course, erupted, with many suspecting Lady Hale chose the jewelry as a statement piece to send a message. But the judge has a history of distinctive brooches, mostly modeled after insects. The brooch became so popular, a UK printing company made a T-shirt inspired by the piece. More than 5,000 shirts sold within hours. The manager said, as everyone on Twitter was talking about the brooch, we thought it was a great angle for a new design. So whether the UK's top judge was sending a message, she certainly knows how to pull off a brooch.
So she's a judge. I don't think she was sending a message. I don't think that's possible. But I'll tell you who's going to start sending messages. This gal right here. Watch for brooches to start appearing as color commentary on the news.
And what icon, though? That's what I'm wondering.
We'll see. Just different kinds
I think we're all a little afraid. Maybe you can borrow some of hers. The fox, the dragonfly, the frog, the beetle.
There's a big range, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess, people, if they want to see symbolism, I'm sure they'll find it. That's The National for this September 24th.
4 p.m.
Have a good
Good night.
Good night.